And now a widespread public outcry in Israel as a new study shows the degree of pollution in the central city of Haifa may be causing cancer and asthma in children. i24 News correspondent Maya Margit has more.
Industrial pollution in Haifa has generated a wave of public outcry. A preliminary study by the University of Haifa shows the city has a number of hotspots where cancer, asthma, and other conditions arise in babies at a significantly higher rate than the national average. According to the results, pregnant women in the Haifa Bay Area who are exposed to petrochemical pollutants had babies who were born with heads that are 20 to 30% smaller than average. The infants also weighed substantially less. Professor Boris Portnov, the leading researcher, said the most affected areas are those located downwind from the city's factories.
In the Haifa Bay Area, we discovered there are a number of points with a higher than average cancer rate. We don't know if such hotspots exist in other Israeli cities because our mandate was only to verify the data in Haifa.
Health Minister Yaakov Litzman meanwhile dismissed the early findings.
All the infant head sizes across the country are the same. If anyone is interested, I'm prepared to publish these findings. This means there's a problem here. What the research has found so far is only preliminary, not final.
Nevertheless, the health ministry has promised to close factories if the final data is convincing. But many accuse the Israeli government of attempting to hide the results from the public for its own economic interests.
I know the researchers, and they told me that some officials meddle and try to influence how the research is carried out. In particular, the researchers are told that they're forbidden from speaking about their work.
In fact, it was only because of a leak to Israeli media that the study's findings came to light in the first place.
The leak is a major problem. First of all, the researchers involved in the study pointed out that the results have not yet been adjusted or verified. This means there could be many changes in the data. The final results could be the complete opposite.
My major criticism of Dr. Dressler, the Haifa municipality, and the Israeli government is the following. It cannot be that on the one hand they're saying they're going to take care of the problem, but on the other they're expanding the petrochemical and oil industries in Haifa.
The preliminary results of the study are expected to be published by the end of March. Even so, some residents are not waiting to see what actions, if any, are taken to address the long-standing issue.
We don't see our future here in the Haifa Bay Area, even though we could have lived here. Just as the refineries spit out pollution, so too does this area spit out its residents. On top of this, I don't know one family that has not been hit by cancer.
Lawmakers will begin examining Portnov's research this summer. Until then, it is unlikely that any legal measures will be taken to counter Haifa's pollution. Maya Margit, i24 News, Haifa.
Yes, I'm joined now by i24 News correspondent and Flash editor Maya Margit. Maya, good evening.
Good evening.
Maya, of course, this issue of pollution in Haifa has been around for a while. It's a long-standing issue. What do we know about what the city has done so far to try to counter it?
Well, when I spoke to the municipality, they told me that they have, in fact, closed a few factories over the past few years. They said that they found some offenders and then they shut those factories down. But when I spoke to the opposition head, Dr. Einat Kalish, she told me that she had heard that they had closed factories down, but that nobody in the city has been able to name a single one of them. So they say they closed them down, but nobody knows which one or what the name is. Additionally, they're supposed to implement this plan to cut pollution by 50% by 2018. And they have like a whole action plan on their website and explains everything. But when I spoke once again to Dr. Kali, she said they say this, but they're actually expanding the industrial area and they're planning on opening and expanding the refineries.
And you know, Maya, you'd think with all the disturbing details that we saw in your report that citizens would take this to court by now.
Yes, I spoke to an attorney who works in one of these environmental groups, Citizens for the Environment. Her name is Jamila Hardal-Wakim. And she said that basically corporate lawsuits are very complicated in Israel, and it's not an area that's very developed. So she said there have been a few lawsuits, but they haven't been very successful because most people don't have the knowledge and the information necessary. And it's kind of clear why, because the information is very garbled and confusing, and some data is available to some people, but not to others.
And speaking of data that it's unavailable to some people, you mentioned in your piece that the government was accused of hiding information about the extent of the pollution in Haifa. To what extent do we know if this is true?
It's very hard to know where the truth lies because everybody has their own agenda and everybody has their own way of presenting the facts. But I was told that the mayor of Haifa, Yonah Yahav, actually tried to block the public from finding out about these initial findings. And that's why someone decided, some undisclosed person decided to leak the information to the Israeli media. It's obviously the mayor of Haifa, the municipality, denies this, and they said that they're very interested in the health of the public and they do want to make sure that pollutants don't cause more health issues in the future.
Certainly something that we need to keep following. Maya Margit, thank you very much for joining me and bringing us this story.
Thank you.